Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is a Gopi Geet. It's very auspicious to chant in this month. I hope you can see it. So this is actually taken from the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's in the 10th canto, chapter 31. So when Krishna does the Ras Leela, there is nothing lusty about it. It's entirely purely devotional exchange, and people misunderstand and make so many stories about it. So Krishna, he appears in front of the gopis, and each gopi is feeling that Krishna is with her exclusively and feels proud. Suddenly each gopi is feeling very proud that Krishna is giving me all his attention. Now, Krishna, he whenever there is pride, he will immediately slash it. We have seen it in Bali Maharaj's story also. How when Bali Maharaj was proud of being good, of being very obedient to his spiritual master, of being very generous and charity, and doing a lot of charity, he was proud of all that, and that he had already got the position of Indra, and he was lord of all the universes. He had become very powerful. At that time, though he was very good, he was not doing anything wicked. Krishna comes in the form of Vamana avatar and takes away everything that belongs to him and asks for where should I put my third step. He comes as a small little boy, Brahmin boy, and then he expands himself to cover all the universes in two steps. And then the third step he says, where do I put? And Bali Maharaj, because he was very humble, and he offers himself, please put your third step on my head. So whenever anyone becomes even slightly proud of even their own goodness, I'm very good, I'm a good devotee, immediately something Krishna will bring in your life which will slash down the pride, because pride is one of the things which will not help you in your spiritual journey to go back to Krishna. So when the gopis also for a brief moment felt proud that, oh, Krishna is with me only, immediately Krishna disappeared from their sight. And the gopis are searching for Krishna everywhere. Now, this Gopi Geet was sung in the month of Kartik this month. That's why many devotees sing it every day. So, I request you when I'm singing it, you can read through the synonyms and translations which are given. It's a little long, there are 19 verses. Let me try and finish it, and then we will proceed to the class for today. So the Gopi Geet, I'm singing it in a tune which is little different from what is normally sung. I hope you will like it. Gopi Srimad Bhagavatam 10.31.1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Gopya Uchuhu. Jayati Tedhikam Krishna Janmana Vrajaha. Just a minute. Sorry about the delay. Okay. जयति तेधिकं कृष्ण जन्मनागरः श्रयत इन्दिरा कृष्ण शाश्वतत्र हि दयितदृश्यतां कृष्ण दिक्षुतावकाश त्वयि धृता कृष्णा त्वां विचिन्वते शरदुदाशये कृष्णा साधु जातस सरसिजोदर कृष्णा श्रीमुषादृशा सुरतनाथ ते कृष्णा शुल्कदासिका वरदनिघ्नतो कृष्णा नेह किं वधः विषजलाप्ययात् कृष्णा व्यालराक्षसात् वर्षमारुतात् कृष्ण वैद्युतानलात् वृषमयात्मजात् कृष्ण विश्वतो भयात् वृषभते वयं कृष्ण रक्षितामुहुः न खलु गोपिका कृष्णानन्दनो भवान् अखिल देहिनां कृष्णान्तरात्मदृक् विखनसार्थितो कृष्ण विश्वगुप्तये सख उदेयिवान् कृष्ण सात्वतां कुले विरचिता भयं कृष्ण वृष्णिदुर्यते चरणमीयुषां कृष्ण संसृतिर्भयात् करसरोरुहं कृष्ण कान्तकामदम् शिरसि धेहि नः कृष्ण श्रीकरग्रहम् व्रजजनार्तिहन् कृष्णा वीरयोषिता निज जन स्मयन् कृष्णाध्वंसनस्मिता भज सखे भवित् कृष्णा किङ्करी स्मनो जलरुहाननं कृष्णा चारुदर्शय प्रणतदेहिनां कृष्णा पापकर्षणम् तृणचरानुगं कृष्ण श्रीनिकेतनम् फणिफणार्पितं कृष्ण ते पदाम्बुजम् ऋणुकुचेषु नः कृष्णा कृन्धि हृच्छयम् मधुरया गिरा कृष्णा वल्गुवाक्यया बुधमनोज्ञया कृष्णा पुष्करीक्षणा विधिकवीरिमा कृष्णा वीरमुह्यति अधरसीधुना कृष्णाप्याययस्व नः तव कथामृतं कृष्णा तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितं कृष्ण कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलं कृष्ण श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ते कृष्णा भूरिदा जनाः प्रहसितं प्रिया कृष्णा प्रेम वीक्षणम् विहरणं च ते कृष्णा ध्यानमङ्गलम् रहसि संविदो कृष्णाया हृदि स्पृशः कुहकनो मनः कृष्णा क्षोभयन्ति चलसि यद्व्रजा चारयन् पशून् नलिनसुन्दर कृष्ण नाथ ते पदम् शिलतृणाङ्कुरैः कृष्ण सीदतीति नः कलिलतां मनः कृष्ण कान्त गच्छति दिनपरीक्षये कृष्णा नीलकुन्तलै वनरुहाननं कृष्णाभिप्रदावृतम् धनरजस्वलं कृष्णा दर्शयन् मुहुर् मनसि नः स्मरन् कृष्णा वीरयक्षसि प्रणतकामदं कृष्णा पद्मजार्चितं धरणिमण्डनं कृष्ण ध्येयमापदि शरणपङ्कजं कृष्ण शन्तमं च ते रमणनः कृष्ण अर्पयाधिहन् सुरतवर्धनं कृष्णाशोकनाशनं स्वरितवेणुना कृष्णसुष्ठुचुम्बितम् इतरराघवेस् कृष्णस्मारणं नृणा वितरवीरनः कृष्ण ते अधरामृतम् अटति यद्भवान् कृष्ण निकाननं त्रुटिर्युगायते कृष्ण त्वामपश्यताम् कुटिलकुन्तलं कृष्ण श्रीमुखं च ते जड उदीक्षतां कृष्ण पद्मपक्ष्मकृत्तृषाम् पतिसुतान्वय कृष्ण भ्रातृबान्धवा अतिविनन्द्यते कृष्ण अन्त्यच्युता गता गतिविदस्तवो कृष्णोद्गीतमोहिता तव योषितः कृष्ण कस्य जेन्निषि राजसि संविदं कृष्ण वृक्षयोदयम् प्रहसिताननं कृष्ण प्रेमवीक्षणम् बृहदुरः श्रियो कृष्ण वीक्ष्य धाम ते मुहुरतिस्पृहा कृष्णा मुह्यते मनः व्रज वनौकसां कृष्णा व्यक्तिरङ्गते व्रजिनहन्त्यलं कृष्णा विश्वमङ्गलम् त्यजमनाक्षणः कृष्णा त्वत्स्पृहात्मना स्वजनविदृजां कृष्णायन्निषूदनम् यत्ते सुजातचरणाम्बुजरुहं स्तनेषु भीताशनैः प्रियदधीमहि कर्कशेषु तेनाटवीमटसि तद्व्यथतेन किं स्वित् पूर्वादिभिर्भ्रमति धी भवदायुषां न इति श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां दशमस्कन्धे पूर्वार्धे रासक्रीडयां गोपीगीतं नामैकविंशोऽध्यायः. So thus, this is a Gopi Geet. I hope it was meaningful. So welcome all of you, Mohini Mataji, Tripti Mataji, Deepak Prabhu, Shraddha Mataji, Sunil Prabhu, Shashikala Mataji. I'm very grateful you joined. So we are going to start off with the chapter 6. Not chapter 6, chapter 5 we need to finish. So yesterday I think we did up to verse number 17. We did the section 17 to 26 almost. We didn't finish it fully. So 17 to 26, I think 22 onwards we need to do. So we were doing symptoms of a self-realized person. We were understanding what are the symptoms of a self-realized person. So I think we did till verse 21. So let me start from verse number 21 today. And then if we have time, we will move to the chapter 6. So let's pay our humble obeisances to the beautiful deities of Shri Shri Radha Govinda temple. Okay, okay. Prabhu is not able to hear. Are you able to see the slides change? Are you able to see Radha and Krishna? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
And
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
now can you see Srila Prabhupada?
No, Mataji.
In the same issue, right? Okay, same issue. Don't know, something wrong with the way I'm sharing or what? Hmm. Okay, now I think you should be able to see Srila Prabhupada and the, can you see the three gurus now?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Thank you so much for the feedback. Right. So let's pay humble obeisance to this Acharya, founder Acharya, without whom we would never get this knowledge. It's only because of Srila Prabhupada's efforts that the ISKCON was founded. And it's only through the efforts of all these great disciples of Srila Prabhupada and their disciples that we have understood the Gita to the degree that whatever degree each one of us has understood. So we have to never forget to be grateful, because in spirituality the guru is really important, because the guru is the one who shows us Krishna, without whom we would never have understood Krishna. In our school days we are never taught, so we have to be very grateful to guru. Our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and his disciple, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, and his disciple, Temple President, His Grace Namniksha Das Prabhu. I want to express my gratitude to all my Shiksha Gurus, particularly Rashmi Mataji and Aishwarya Mataji, under whom I am studying my Bhakti Vaibhav right now, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, Cantos 1 to 6. नम ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णापादन सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we understood very clearly the first section of Nishkam Karma Yoga being easier than stopping to do all work, because mostly the sannyasis who leave everything and go, they're all mithya. They're all, mithyacharis. They're all false, because they think that they have controlled their senses, but you're inside this body, right? The soul is trapped inside this body with the senses and the sense organs, all, and the mind, everything is going to make you fall anytime. It's very difficult to actually stop all the senses. Rather, in Krishna consciousness, we are the highest, where we use all our senses. We don't let them be idle and long for anything, because we keep our senses busy in the service of Krishna, and we enjoy the bliss of doing what is our true dharma of the soul, which is to serve the Lord. And how then we saw from 5.7 to 12 how to perform Nishkam Karma Yoga. We also finished the three doers, which are, anybody would like to say what are the three doers? Yes, Prabhu?
Self and
It's
second,
a soul, three modes of nature, and super soul.
Yeah, perfect. I'm so glad that you remember. So we should always remember that. It helps us to feel so free and liberated already, just knowing not knowing the whole Gita, but just knowing that you are never the sole doer makes us so free. We don't feel burdened that, oh my God, this thing happened in my life, and oh no, it's because I did this. Never you should think that you are the doer. There are two other doers. That thing happened, whatever good or bad happened, is because of other two doers also. The modes are also very important, and the sanction is given by the Lord. So then it's a very liberating knowledge, which I love from the Gita. We have reached halfway of this next section where Krishna teaches us how we can focus on the super soul and therefore how we can get liberation. And we were on the verse number 21. We finished 20, we were doing 21. So we'll just go through that once. The verse goes, Bahya spalsheshva saktatma vindatyatmani yat sukham sa brahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayam ashnute. So in this slide, the translation is not there. The poem is only there. But let me just quickly read the translation for you. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this verse, Krishna is saying, such a liberated person, right? Bahya sparsheshu is, bahya means outside, right? And sparsheshu means pleasure, the pleasure which you get from your senses. Asaktatma, this means one who is not attached. So one who is not attracted to material sense pleasure. Vindati means enjoys. Bahya sparsheshva saktatma vindayatmani yat sukham. And he is enjoying. He is not attracted to all these external sense pleasures because vindatyatmani yat sukham. In his atma itself, he is so happy. Right? We are learning about how we can focus on the God within our own heart, the Paramatma form, and how we can actually start experiencing bliss. So, such a liberated person who is not attracted to material sense pleasure, and what does he do? He's always enjoying within because he's focusing on the Paramatma within him. And in this way, Sa Brahma Yoga Yuktatma Sukham Akshayam Ashnute. Sukham is happiness, like you all must be knowing. Sukham in Hindi also. Sukh is happiness. Akshaya means unlimited. Ashnute means enjoys. So such a person is actually enjoying unlimited happiness. So the different material world related happiness is like tucham for him. It's like, what is this? It's not happiness. People are crazy to think it's happiness. So they will reach that high level of enjoying transcendental happiness. So that is the beauty of being liberated. So then the poetic translation is, towards external sensations, what should we be? Be indifferent, which will happen automatically. Don't forcefully be. When you regularly chant and offer yourself to Krishna, when you're chanting, saying that, oh Krishna, please use me in your in your service. And when you keep chanting with that beautiful mood, you start enjoying. And you will automatically be indifferent. In relishing inner joy, you will become proficient. When you keep chanting every day and connecting with God and be in yoga, you will gradually become proficient in relishing inner joy by focusing on the Paramatma within your own heart. With soul trained in divine absorption, by regularly listening to the Gita, by regularly reading Srila Prabhupada's books and scriptures, and by regularly listening to Kirtan, going to the temple, joining the group japa, all these, and eating prasadam, these will all help you to train your soul in divine absorption. Right now, in the conditions, in the conditioned, situation where the soul is trapped in this body, it's sleeper. The soul is sleeping. So when the soul wakes up by listening to the Gita and by all the other devotional services, then it will get trained in divine absorption, and then it will relish a bliss which will not even be destroyed by time. Everything else gets destroyed by time. All the knowledge you acquire, suppose you're an engineer or you're an IT professional, you have studied, you've gone to the college, you're doing your job, you've got all this great knowledge. But when you die, it's all over. You will forget. Next birth, you'll have to start from ABC. Or if you're born as a dog or a cat, you'll only be able to do bow bow and meow. That's it. So it's all time will kill and destroy everything. Only the spiritual journey progress that you make in devotional service, time will not destroy. In your next birth, you will start exactly from where you have left off. Suppose today you did the class and tomorrow onwards you suddenly decide, I'm enough for it. I don't want to do this class anymore. But whatever you've learned so far, it will stay with you in the journey of your soul, because your soul is awakened already to that degree. And Krishna will not leave you in your next birth or next birth. Gradually, whenever you're ready again, from wherever you left off, Krishna will again help you to get this knowledge of the Gita and will again help you and try to motivate you to go back to him and follow with the journey. Because till you get this knowledge and apply it in your life, you will have to keep on taking births in this material world. So, what is a beautiful prayer which comes through this verse? It says, "Oh Lord, help me to see that spiritual happiness, which so many sages and the Gita and the scriptures are all talking about, is actually not so mysterious and incomprehensible as to be utterly out of my reach. This Bhagavad Gita is not for some great scholars, Sanskrit Pandits or Brahmanas or anything. It is for everybody. Krishna says it is also for women, it is also for Shudras, it is for everyone. Shudras means what? It means he has only one quality. Kshatriya means what? He has more number of qualities. Brahmana has the most number of qualities. So it's only quality, not based on your birth. Okay, I'm born in a Goswami family, so I'm a big, Brahman. No, you're a child of a doctor, you don't become a doctor. And so more so in all these things, you won't become automatically. Only when you have qualities, you have these different varnas and ashramas based on where you are. What is your position? So, whichever position you are, you can gain spiritual happiness. It's in everybody's reach. Everyone. It's not very mysterious and incomprehensible for the person who has started this journey. It seems like as if it's mysterious. Oh my God, how do I become, a person who is enjoying all the time in the Paramatma? How can I become like that? It seems impossible. Why is it seeming like that? Because of my present material tendencies, because my mind is still full of so many lusty and materialistic desires that I'm not able to understand this knowledge. It's becoming incomprehensible and mysterious for me. Why? Because of the desires. When you keep chanting your desires, material attachments will fade away without even your knowledge. It will just become weak automatically. Your material tendencies are super strong now, and the spiritual tendency is super weak now. So, what is the prayer saying? Oh Krishna, oh my Lord, please assure me that I can come to you through a simple two-step process where I turn away from the world and I turn towards you. We saw that in the last class also. Even when we are doing something, we should be able to think of Krishna the whole day. Imagine Arjuna. Just imagine Arjuna's position. In the end, he says, okay, Krishna, I will listen to you. And Krishna tells Arjuna in so many places, I want you to think of me and offer your fighting to me. How difficult is that? He's faced with enemies, arrows are being shot at him from all directions, and he has to, manage that. He has to he has to be so aware and alert when he's in the battlefield, surrounded by all weapons coming and showering. At that time also Krishna says, you do your best, your duty, but keep me in your mind. So it's not, when Krishna is telling us, it's not like it's impossible. Actually, it's possible. We should be able to keep Krishna in our mind by turning away from the world. We do all our work, it doesn't mean we stop our work. Each minute, each hour, each day, each week, each month, each year, as I persist in desisting from external material sensations, it's actually difficult to take time. Don't think that it'll happen just like that. In one of the Bhagavatam verses, it says, in Gita verse, it says, Shaneh, Shaneh. Gradually, just trust the process. Listen to the Gita regularly, read the Gita, read other Srila Prabhupada books, chant, and you will find that gradually and slowly your mundane tendency will weaken and it will ultimately die. And when I perish in pursuing the spiritual, and I persist in pursuing the spiritual, if I continue pursuing, then the divine tendency will awaken your soul and you'll become strong spiritually. Please, O Lord, help me to see every moment as an opportunity to take a small step in my spiritual journey. Help me, my Lord, to not devalue the steps I'm taking. Don't think that, oh my God, I'm trying so hard and I'm not able to be Krishna conscious. I'm not getting any benefit. I'm still having all the difficulties. So don't think like that. Don't devalue the small steps you're taking. I'm taking right now by dwelling on how small they seem. Help me, oh Krishna, to value, the things I'm doing. See, right now you're able to come to this class. Be grateful for that. Thank God I'm still able to come to the class. I can be grateful. Thank God I'm still able to come, in spite of all my challenges, I'm able to come and talk chapter 5. So it's a small step I'm making in my spiritual journey. Everybody, all of us are making the small step. And we should value that. Don't think that what is the use? I'm just sitting and listening and I'm the same after that. No, you're not the same. Every little step you take is making a difference in you. It is wonderful, oh Krishna, that such small steps that I'm taking every day over time Krishna gives a guarantee, will bless me with joy of a happiness that is beyond time, beyond the power of time to deplete. Time, like I already told you earlier, it cannot deplete or delete or remove whatever progress you're making in spirituality. When I, as an eternal soul, link myself with you, O Krishna, the eternal whole, in a bond of eternal love, then what will happen, my Lord? That joy will be by your mercy mine forever. Again, the word important here is by your mercy. If we keep on remembering linking ourselves to Krishna, then by Krishna's mercy, we will experience eternal love for Krishna, which will give us extreme joy. So that is 5.21. Now let's look at 5.22. In 5.22, Krishna is saying, Yehi sansparshaja bhogaha dukkha yonaya evate adyantavanta panteya nate shuramate buddha. So what is he saying? He's saying that an intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses, O son of Kunti. Such pleasures have a beginning and an end. So the wise man does not delight in them. Gradually, when you move in Krishna consciousness, you will also feel the same way. Because then you're getting the intelligence. Why are you getting intelligence? Because Krishna gives you the intelligence. How does he give you? Because you turn towards him. Otherwise, so many births you have been turning away from him. When you turn towards Krishna, Krishna will start giving you the intelligence. So, what is Krishna saying? Look at this. Our senses are actually very powerful, okay? Human beings. Even different insects, if you see, for example, for the insects, only the power of eye is very powerful. As soon as it sees a light, it will first quickly go towards the light or the fire and then it will die in that. Likewise, the deer's sense of I think smell is very powerful. He's always getting the smell of musk, or is it the sense of hearing? I can't remember. The hunter, when he plays a specific music with a specific horn, the hunters get attracted to it. The deer gets attracted to it. And then it gets trapped by the hunter. That's the power of sound. And the lotus is, I think, the power of smell. The smell is so enchanting. The bees will come and it will sit inside and be so enchanted in enjoying the honey. The smell of it is so enchanting and intoxicating that it will stay there till at night the lotus will close and then the fly dies inside the lotus. Likewise, the fish is enchanted. The fish is living in water. The water is full of enough food for him. But when it suddenly sees some little hook with some stupid food the fisherman is putting to catch him, he will go behind it and his tongue will, it gets stuck inside that hook and then the fisherman will catch him. So just because of his sense of taste, wanting to taste something new, he's going. And the elephant also, we must have seen all this in level 1 already. The elephant story is also about the sense of touch. The elephant wants to mate, the male elephant wants to physically mate with the female elephant. And what do the hunters do? They will make the female hunter walk and train the female hunter to walk around a huge pit that they will have dug up and covered it with leaves. When a female has gone across the pit, the male will run behind the female and fall into the pit, and that is how they catch the elephant. So this is how your senses, will drive you to your end. Whereas for human beings, the sad thing is that all our senses are powerful. We want to see the most delightful things. We want to hear the most delightful music. We want to smell the best. We want to eat the best. And we want to also enjoy physical pleasures of the skin. Since it's very powerful, it's not easy at all. So what are we saying in 5.22? We're saying that an intelligent person will not partake, right? He knows that I'm going to pay a huge price. If I'm going to just, allow myself to go behind all these pleasures, the price is that I'll have to take birth again. So, what is the slokas in a poetic form? From the titillation of the senses comes a pleasure. The moment you see something or you hear something, you feel allured to that. Material world is very, Maya will keep on pulling you. She will not allow you to go to Krishna. So, only when you constantly do devotional service, she will say, okay, fine. I think you are now mature. You can go back to Krishna. You can get out of my material jail. So, she says, and that is a source of sorrow beyond measure. You don't know that actually you're going behind the pleasure, which is actually going to give you sorrow, which is going to be beyond measure. Why? Because it's going to end soon after beginning. You eat an ice cream, it will last for just 1 minute. Any of these pleasures is so short-lived. After it's over, it doesn't even stay. So somebody who is really wise and intelligent will not go behind them. Of course, suppose you already have, your mother is cooking some nice food and offering it as prasad. It's not that you will say, I don't want it, I don't want to enjoy. No, you will eat that prasad, you will enjoy. So you will continue enjoying whatever is there for you, but you will not go seeking after it. So what are we saying? Oh Krishna, the pursuit of sense pleasure has now, because of my all so many birds pursuing sense pleasure, that is the reason why I'm now repeating the suffering so many levels, mental, physical. All of us have, right? If some of us have some of them, some of us have some other, and some of us have all of them. We have suffering, mental suffering, physical suffering, some disease is there, some problem. My leg is paining, my knee is paining, my back is paining. I have this particular disease, or I have diabetes or whatever. Financial, everyone has some sort of financial. I've taken a loan and it's finding it difficult to repay or whatever. Financial sufferings are there, social sufferings are there, spiritual sufferings are there, so many levels. Spiritual sufferings are, of course, not considered to be bad, because suppose you're suffering because you can't chant. Oh, you know what? Yesterday I couldn't finish my 16 rounds. And so today I have to do that and today's round. So that's oh my God. So that's a kind of suffering. But that anxiety in spirituality is considered to be good, because that is leading to your ultimate goal. At the physical level, I indulge so much, being driven by the senses towards the sense objects, that what am I doing? I'm harming my health. I'm going, suppose I see some junk food, I'm lured, I go and eat it, and it's so nice. I feel it's wow, it's nice. I eat more and more till I get a stomach upset. Acidity and other major health issues will slowly come. How many times, oh Krishna, I've suffered ill health due to this excessive indulgence in food? At the financial level, oh Lord, how much money have I wasted on pleasures that last mere moments? We need to all become more mindful of the way we spend money after Krishna consciousness. I can find my own spending has changed so much after I came to Krishna Con. Whatever I would do earlier, now I think twice. Do I really need to do that? Is it going to give me any lasting peace? Is it going to help in my Krishna consciousness? Otherwise, I won't wastefully spend. I've changed so much from what I used to be. At the social level, the mad pursuit for pleasure has led me to so much embarrassment and humiliation. Oh, you put a picture, how many likes, who didn't put a comment on me, this, that. We're so behind all these, social things. How many apologies, my Lord, have I had to make because I blindly chase fleeting pleasures? At the spiritual level, my Lord, so many opportunities are there for connecting with Krishna and relishing the joy which I lost, which was originally mine. And I'm continuing to lose that joy of spirituality. Why? Because of sensory titillation. Please, oh Lord, hold my intelligence strong. So you tell Krishna, you take over my reign. Just like Arjuna has given the reins of his horse to Krishna. You give your intelligence to Krishna and say, oh Krishna, let me stop thinking my own stupid thoughts. Please, your intelligence, take control of my mind. And I want you to unsentimentally and unflinchingly, the enormous cost I've already paid and continue to pay unless I make a change right now. Please help me to change. Bless me, my Lord, so that from within me, I can start having a belief, firm and stern, that enough is enough. I've had enough of this material world. All these pleasures which I have been going behind after wealth, after women, or for women, it would be men, and for after power, all these material things, right? Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, na dhanam. I want to stop going after wealth. Na janam. I want to stop going after people to follow me. Oh, how many people are following me? How many friends I have? You don't need to become popular. You don't need to. You just need Krishna. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundari. No need for a handsome man or a beautiful woman. And it's not really required. It is there in your life because of your previous karma. Great. But if not, don't lust after it. Kavitam Vishame Bhavam. I only want to have the Kavita of, that is Krishna. Think of Krishna all the time. So that is what should be our aim. As we further go into Krishna consciousness, that should be our aim. And in verse 23, what does Krishna say? In verse 23, Krishna says, Shaknoti haiva yasodum praksharira vimokshana kama krodha krodhodbhavam vegam sayuktas naraha. So he's saying that before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges, vacho vegam, vacho means speech. You want to say some nonsense, you want to shout at someone, you want to show your anger, that urge of opening your mouth and spitting out some bullshit, you will be able to control it. Vacho vegam, manasa, your mind. The mind is telling you, you keep on looking at something, or maybe a woman or something, you're just wanting, you're thinking about her, thinking, and then you start feeling for her, and then you go and reach out. So, manasa, krodha, mind, you will have control. You will stop any thought which you know is not going to help in your spiritual journey. In the thinking stage only. You will not keep on thinking. Dhyato vishayan punsa sange seshubha jayate. You will not keep on getting attached by thinking of those pleasures. So, vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam. Even the tendency to be angry. Suddenly you get so angry. Why? Because you have had some expectation. The expectation is not fulfilled. You get angry. And so you will, once you come to Krishna consciousness, you will curb that urge to act upon your anger, to act upon what your mind is telling you to do. You have detached yourself from your mind. So your mind will tell you do this, do that, but now you're above your mind. You have given the power to the soul, and you've given your intelligence to Krishna. Take control, Krishna. You take control. I am stupid. I don't know. I don't know to control my urge. So you please help me. So vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jihva vegam, the tongue. Jihva vegam, vacho vegam, manasah krodha vegam, jihva vegam, udaropastha vegam. Udar means stomach. The stomach will keep on craving, give me this, give me that. But you will not say yes to everything. You will only give what is good for your health. Udaro upastha. Upastha means your genital organs. All your reproductive organs will also crave. Oh, you see something you want, but unless you are aiming to produce a Krishna conscious child, you're not supposed to indulge. It's supposed to be wasting your time and your energy from and taking you away from Krishna consciousness. So you should be indulging when you plan to bring a Krishna conscious child. How many of Krishna conscious children you can bring? You can go ahead. Krishna says that is religious. It is dharma. You can do that. But if you can't bring up Krishna conscious children, or you don't want to have children, then you should be trying to control. Vach udaropastha vegam. Etan vegan. Etan vegan. Once you start controlling all those urges, then your spiritual journey will become very fast. And you'll be soon able to become into a spiritual teacher. You'll be able to teach others, and you'll be in a position to preach, which is very, very much needed for today's society. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam jihva vegam udaropastha vegam etan veganyo vishaheta dhiraha. Such a person who is a dhira. Sarvanapi mam prithvim sashishyat, and he becomes eligible to make the whole world a student. You can actually do that once you are able to check the force of the desire and anger. And once you do that, you will actually experience true happiness. So what is this word saying? Tolerating. While we are in this bodily frame, the body is telling us do this, do that, run after this kind of desire. Desire and anger's burning flame is making your body long for all the material things till the point the body meets its end. When you die, then it's over, everything is over. The yogi attains a joy that knows no end. But the yogi who has been trying for spiritual, progress is enjoying continuous. Even after death, he gets into the next body. If at all he has some more things to work upon, and he's enjoy because the spiritual journey he has made is not it's not lost. The progress he made is still with him. So my dear Lord, oh Krishna, even though I understand that all my sensory indulgence are going to lead me to suffering, I know that if I indulge, I'm going to be longing for more. It's only going to increase. It's going to make me feel worse, and still the desires remain. So help me, Krishna, to understand that all these material desires may arise just because of my body's biological reactions upon perceiving all the attractive objects. But I don't want to be like an animal, oh Krishna. Help me to calmly and clearly understand that my body's reaction does not have to become inclination of my mind. I can train my mind. And it certainly does not have to become the intention of myself. Don't think that what your mind is saying is actually you. Oh, I feel like eating that big fat burger full of, cheese and some non-veg, and I feel like eating that. Then you think, oh, I feel like eating. No, it's not you. It's your mind which is telling you, and you can stop it if you choose to. So please, oh Krishna, help me to come to peace with the idea that my body may continue to desire things that I as a soul no longer desire. The soul, now I'm awakened. I know what is my journey, that what is my goal in this human life is to stop taking birth and, in this material world and suffering from birth, death, old age, and disease. So when such desires arise, O Krishna, help me to understand that just as chasing after the desires is a waste of my time, trying to crush them into extinction is also a waste. Instead, I should use them for Krishna. So bless me, Krishna, with virtue of tolerance, whereby I accept that they are going to. Don't think that, oh, when I come to Krishna consciousness, I will not have desires. There will be lots of, in fact, sometimes even more unwanted desires. Maya will come and try every way to distract you from your spirituality. More and more unwanted desires will come when you come to Krishna consciousness. So I have to accept the presence of these unwanted desires without accepting the influence. You know that the desire is coming, but you will not accept their influence. You will already be risen above, so you will not let them influence you. You will tolerate and stop it at the thinking stage. I know that such tolerance of unwanted desires will become easier when my heart is absorbed in transcendence. What is the easiest way to stop working on your desires and running after stupid things which will give you stupid temporary pleasure? Simply being absorbed. That's why this whole section is called focusing on the transcendental Lord in the Paramatma form in your own heart. He's actually telling you, stop. You can feel the voice. Once you're very carefully listening, you can easily listen to that Paramatma, your conscience, telling you, no, don't indulge. You can hear him tell you that. You just need to start focusing on that and giving it power to the Lord. Look at Lord and let him guide you. Please, O Lord Krishna, please strengthen my desire for you so that all other desires become weak. Let me feel strongly that I want to come to you, Krishna. I don't want another birth. Please take me. Please help me. Give me strength, O Krishna, for such purposeful tolerance, which is the key to staying connected with you. Only if I tolerate all these different desires can I stay connected with you. Because the moment I start indulging on all those different pleasures for which my mind is longing, you cannot think of Krishna when you're indulging. But if you just offer what you're doing, you're eating something nice, offer it, that's not indulgence. Then you're using your senses for the pleasure of the Lord, which is helping you to become absorbed in the ecstasy of remembering Krishna. And then you'll really feel that ecstasy and that joy. So how long do I have to tolerate the pushing of the senses? How long? In 5.24 to 26, Krishna answers, until when one must tolerate the urges of senses? The answer is until death. Don't think that, oh, now it is Ekadashi, so today I will tolerate. Or this week is Navaratri, so I'm going to tolerate my urge to have non-veg. Or this week, only when some occasion, then it's over. No, not like that. In Krishna consciousness, you become a Vaishnava. And then you tolerate not just for some days or some special occasion, but until death. Where do you get your strength to tolerate all these sensual urges? Simply by focusing your happiness, activities, and goals inward. What is inside you? Paramatma. You have to focus inside the Paramatma within your heart, your conscience, and then you will easily be able to tolerate. It will not become difficult if you're chanting and constantly thinking of Paramatma in your heart, who is Krishna himself in everyone's heart. And he engages in, how long you tolerate? He engages in purifying his external activities by working for the benefit of others. Then what will happen? You will be assured of liberation. So although we say in Krishna consciousness, don't go and do Krishna consciousness to others, we have to also understand that Krishna is very happy when you start considering everyone as your own. Because you know that they are all coming from Krishna. All are your, brothers and sisters. We all have a common origin, which is Krishna. And so when we work for the benefit of the people around us, Krishna will be happy and then he assures you liberation. So in this slide, what can we see? We can see 5.24 and 25. In 5.24, what is Krishna saying? In 5.24, Krishna is saying, Yonta Sukuntara Ramaha Tathantar Jyotirevayah Sayogi Brahma Nirvanam Brahma Bhuto Digachati. And in 25, Labhante Brahma Nirvanam Rishayakshina Kalmashaha Chinnadvaidhayatatmanaha Hiterataha. And even the next one is there, which is 26. Kama Krodha Viyuktanam Yatinam Yatachetasam Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanah. So what are these verses translation? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoices within, whose aim is inward, becomes a perfect mystic. That is what the first verse here. This one, I'm reading this one. Becomes a perfect mystic. He is liberated in the Supreme and ultimately he attains the Supreme. So once you do that, Krishna is guaranteeing that you will yourself become, all the qualities of Krishna you will have and you'll become a tiny little Krishna, You can't become Krishna as in the the Krishna, the original Krishna. No one can ever, some people say I can become God. No, you can have all the godly qualities the moment you start following all the Guru's guidelines. And then in 25, what is Krishna saying? In 25, he says, those who are beyond the dualities, no more you're affected by good, bad, happy, cold, that arise from doubts, whose minds are engaged within, always busy working for welfare of all living beings. Once you start coming to Krishna consciousness, you'll actually be able to do what is good for everyone. You will be guided to do what is best for all living beings and who are free from all sins, then you will achieve liberation. So liberation through focus is the name of the section itself. And Kama, Krodha, Viyuktatma, what is the meaning of this verse? Those who are free from anger. As you can read there, you can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. From anger, who are self-realized, self-disciplined and constantly endeavoring for perfection, such a person is assured of liberation in the very near future. Where is it? Where is it in the very near future? Quickly you will be able to realize Krishna. So Abhita, the word Abhita is telling us that in the near future. Now we come to the last section. We have just 3-4 minutes. I'll quickly finish it. Liberation through Ashtanga Yoga is going to be the next chapter, but we're going to quickly, an introduction Krishna gives in these verses itself. 5.27 and 28 is just an introduction to Ashtanga Yoga. Sparshan kritva bahir bahyansh chakshuschaivantare bhruvoh pranapanav samau kritva nasa bhyantara charma yatendriya mano buddhihi munir moksha parayanah vigatvigatechha bhayakrodha yasa sada mukta eva saha. What is the meaning of these two verses, 27 and 28? He's just saying the process of Ashtanga Yoga. Shut out all the external sense objects, keep the eyes and vision concentrate between the eyebrows, suspend inward and outward breath within the nose, and then control the mind and senses. The transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire, fear, and anger, and one who is always in this state will become liberated. So, as we will see tomorrow, next week, the week after next, when we do chapter 6, when Krishna will give all this guideline, control your mind, do inward, all these things, Arjuna will say, sorry, I can't do it. And then Krishna will say, you just need to do bhakti. It's not that you can't do, you can control, but you have to you do it by using all your senses in the service of Krishna by doing bhakti. And then we have the peace formula. A person in full consciousness of Krishna wants to understand who is Krishna. Who is this God? Once you understand that, you will immediately be liberated from the pangs of all material miseries. It will not disturb you. Even if miseries come because of your past karma, which you can't control, very, very old karmas will get burnt away by chanting, but the immediate ones which are already on the process of suffering, that you cannot change. But you will not be affected by that. So this is the best verse. It says, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam jnatva mam shantim rikshati jnatva mam. One who knows and understands me, shantim, peace achieves. So the sages knowing me as ultimate purpose of all sacrifices. Bhoktaram yajna tapasa. All the sacrifices enjoyer. Who is the enjoyer? Krishna. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the supreme lord of every single planet and world and all the demigods. And he is Suhridam. He is the best friend of Sarva Bhutaram. Not only of you, but of every living entity. He is the best friend. So you actually have nothing to worry. Even if something horrible happens to you or somebody in the family, it's all because of Krishna's, or to yourself, it's all Krishna's mercy. You should be able to see it as Krishna's mercy. Either it is simply a result of your karma, and karma is also basically a lesson. It's teaching you, it's a lesson. Karma is like a slap for something that you've done wrong. It's either your own karma or it is Krishna's way of slowly getting you back to your highest, goal, which is going to give you supreme pleasure. Jnatva Mam, once you understand that Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam is Krishna, that Krishna is your best well-wisher, benefactor, then you will attain peace from all material anxieties. So what should our position and disposition be? For all offerings, know me to be enjoyer. You should know Krishna to be enjoyer. For all worlds, I am the controller. Krishna is the controller of everything. For all beings, I am the best friend, loving and kind. If you know this, you will get true peace. So what is the prayer? Oh Krishna, search for pressure is often the cause of my greatest trouble. My mind is my biggest devil. It's going after all these pleasures. So please, that is the cause of my trouble. You have made me, O Lord, so that I can find real pleasure in relation with you through loving and serving you. Not in isolation from you, let alone in defiance of you. Actually, we are trapped in this world because we didn't want to serve Krishna at some point, not knowing that that is actually my highest job and my highest goal and my highest joy. So help me, O Krishna, to understand that whatever sacrifices I make in various endeavors, let them be first and foremost for your pleasure. Let me always remember, is Krishna going to be happy if I seek this pleasure? If I make today, I'm going to make this favorite food of mine and I'm offering it to Krishna. Is Krishna going to like it? Oh Lord, I will soon find my own deepest pleasure just as watering you the root. If you water the root, which is Krishna, you don't have to please anybody else. Everybody else will automatically be pleased or things will fall in place. Just as the root will naturally nourish the leaves of the tree, similarly, for you, O Krishna, are the root, and I am just a small little leaf. So help me, O Lord, to resent this arrangement of things. What right do I have to claim enjoyment through things that are not mine? First of all, devotee is beautiful because he knows that nothing belongs to him. So he doesn't have this hankering at all. He's such a beautiful and peaceful person. I have not created this world, you have. So the devotee is saying, you have created the world. It belongs to you, O Krishna. It is, only natural that if I want to be peaceful, I must follow your plan. Isn't it very obvious? I don't know how people don't get it. It's so obvious that unless you follow God's plan, how can you be peaceful? You just keep being obstinate and go against the current of the river and you want to be happy and peaceful? How can you be? You, my Lord, are my pleasure, are my best friend. Please help me understand. Even though you don't need me, Krishna doesn't need you, your friend, you to be his friend, or you to offer. Only if you offer, Krishna will be, quench his hunger. Nothing like that. Krishna doesn't need anything. He is all Atma Rama. He's the highest Atma Rama. He's totally happy and always in his, pleasure zone. He's always playing the flute and always enjoying. Krishna, you're not a tyrant who exploits me for your own pleasure. So I must remember that Krishna is not exploiting me. It's my own doing that I'm suffering. Let me remember that Krishna, you are my benefactor who gives me greater pleasure when I connect with you than anything else. So I beg you, Krishna, that kind of desperate pleading mentality should come within us. Only then we will be blessed. Oh Krishna, I beg you, may this understanding of your position and disposition make me wholehearted in my service to you. Because I know that my highest pleasure is in that. So with that, we end today's chapter. We have gone through all the sections in good detail. I trust we have done chapter 5 well. पांचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Thank you everybody for joining the class today. I'm truly grateful to you for being here. I wish you all a very, very happy Deepavali. And wherever you are, please, celebrate Deepavali safely. Take care of yourself and your families. And whenever you get time, read Srila Prabhupada's books. Please try to chant regularly, even if it is a festival day. Somehow find time, maybe get up a little early in the Brahma Muhurt and finish your chanting. I'm sure that you will all, once you do these things regularly, be very great preachers and create more devotees, and you will feel happiness and joy unlimited within you. Just as this chapter 5 is claiming, Krishna is saying, you will be able to find happiness within you. You will get the control of over all the different material pleasures, and you'll be able to enjoy bliss. So thank you so much, all of you. And please pray that I also am able to chant and reach my highest goal as a human in a human life. Thank you so much, everyone. Hare, anybody has any doubts? Yesterday I didn't ask. Also today also it's past 10. Anybody would like to share some reflection, or anybody has to ask something? Hare Krishna. Otherwise we can end the class. Hare Krishna to everyone. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji.
Krishna
Dandavat
Mataji.
Wish
Pranam
you
Mataji.
happy Diwali.
Yeah, thank
Happy
you.
Diwali to you Mataji.
Diwali. Thank you. Happy Krishna conscious Diwali. Thank you.
Yes Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.